5 years ago, I broke up with my best friend of 30 years. We lived over 1,000 miles apart, so I was really excited when she was coming to visit me. I had just moved to a new house in San Antonio, so after she arrived, I gave her the grand tour of my new digs. When we got to the back door, I said, "Come on out to my garden so you can see my tomatoes." I actually detected a hint of a sneer as she replied, "Why would I want to look at your tomatoes? I don't even like tomatoes. And besides, it's so hot out there." A little alarm bell went off in my head, alerting me that something was definitely not quite right with this relationship. At the moment, I wasn't sure how to put my feelings into words, which was vaguely amusing because as a psychotherapist, words are my business. So I simply said, okay. Regrettably, the visit went downhill from there, and when I dropped her off at the airport, I knew this was the last time I would have her come visit me. Frankly, I felt relieved. We'd been best friends for 30 years. Was I willing to end such an enduring friendship over some silly tomatoes? I was. You see, where I grew up in New York, you put a seed in the ground, you sprinkle a little water on it, and you get a bumper crop of lovely tomatoes. Growing tomatoes in the summer heat of South Texas, on the other hand, that's a labor of love and commitment. I was really proud of my tomatoes, so how could somebody be my best friend and not be willing to walk a few yards to my carefully tended vegetable patch to admire them? Now, if the tomato incident had been a one-shot deal, I can assure you I never would have ended a 30-year friendship over it. But the truth is, it wasn't. So long as we were doing what she wanted to do and the limelight was on her, everything was great. But the moment I tried to shift that focus to me when I had something to celebrate or I had a different priority or preference, I found myself feeling confused, inadequate, and somehow disloyal. It seemed like every conversation morphed into a competition where she had to be the winner and I came up short. She was supportive on the surface, but her negativity and vaguely hostile remarks left me feeling diminished. Spending time with my best friend left me feeling awful. The problem is I didn't really have a best friend. I was dancing with a frenemy. When I told her of my decision to break up, she asked, "Why can't we be friends?" After 30 years, I felt she was entitled to a good answer, and that's what got me seriously thinking about friendship, and also about loneliness. It seemed like everywhere I turned, experts were reporting an epidemic of loneliness, and I was hearing a lot about loneliness from clients in my psychotherapy practice. To find out what was really going on, I put together an online survey, and over 600 people responded to it. My results showed that family reigned supreme in the friendship realm. By a wide margin, husbands and wives were each other's best friends, followed by siblings, parents, kids, and then other relatives. After our two-legged family members, it appears dogs really are man's best friend. But don't despair, cat lovers. As you can see, our feline companions came in a pretty close second. And it turns out that computers and phones can be friends, or even best friends, too. So what gets in the way of making and keeping friends? We're busy and have lots of conflicting obligations. We move around a lot, and sadly, there just don't seem to be enough opportunities for spontaneously hanging out together, something everyone agrees is important for both making and keeping friends. People also think there are more introverts now than there used to be. And we all want friends who are nearby, convenient, and just like us. The worst news was how many people said they'd been hurt or betrayed by someone they thought was their friend, that they've grown cynical and believe others can't be trusted, or that they just feel alienated. Maybe that's why we're spending so much time with electronics and in solitary activities. Maybe we're choosing family and pets as our closest friends to lower the risk of getting hurt or betrayed yet again. I think the loneliness epidemic has a lot to do with the fallout from frenemies. So one solution to the epidemic could be to find a good radar, or as I say, radar, detection system to help us figure out who the toxic people are, and that way we can avoid them in the first place. So how do you know if someone is your frenemy? It helps to first consider how you know if someone is your friend. According to my survey, the qualities we look for most in friends are trust, shared interests, being there for you when you need them, laughing together, and joy in each other's company. I came up with the idea that each of us should design a friendship house to use as a rubric to help us determine who should and should not be a friend. The foundation of your friendship house is built from those qualities someone must have to be your friend. The foundation of my personal friendship house includes reciprocity, respect, integrity, emotional stability, and kindness. Your friendship house should have multiple rooms because different friends who meet different needs will find their place in different rooms. When you get to know someone well enough for them to grow from an acquaintance to a friend, they'll be welcome in your house because they can stand firm on the foundation. Then you can decide which room or rooms they fit best in. For example, my literary friends belong in my library, while my online friends make their home in my computer room. My closest friends gather around the table in my kitchen, and my family hangs out in, you guessed it, the family room. What is not in my friendship house is just as important as what's in it. There aren't any black holes to suck me dry. There are no snakes who bite when I'm not looking. There are no backstabbers who compete with me while pretending to be supportive. And absolutely no queen bees who act like royalty but aren't. Some of our most popular ideas about friendship reflect outdated ways of thinking that go back as far as junior high or even Mayberry. Like mid-century ideas about marriage, old-fashioned expectations about friendship don't reflect contemporary realities and actually make us more vulnerable to frenemies. Instead of looking for BFFs, it's a lot more realistic to expect a gradually evolving mosaic of friends. It's comforting to know that all of your friendship eggs don't need to be in a single basket and that it's never too late to make great friends. So what about your friendship house? What building blocks will you choose for your foundation? Stout walls and a sturdy roof will reflect the healthy boundaries that are fundamental to all good relationships. Only open your door for people who bring you joy and make your life better because they're a part of it. What rooms belong in your floor plan? A well-constructed house will keep you sheltered, comfortable, and secure, and it'll be your best protection from frenemies. And when all the rooms are filled with people who make your heart sing, you'll have banished loneliness from your life. 5 years ago, my old friend asked, "Why can't we be friends?" The simple answer is, she had changed so much. There was no longer a place for her in my friendship house. But if you and I were to meet, and you say, "Hey, why can't we be friends?" I'll probably answer, maybe we can, but remember, you have to be willing to go out and look at my tomatoes.